Payments as a service, absolutely. It is a hot topic. It's a big trend right now. And there are really three reasons for that. One is that there's a huge pressure to lower costs and improve margins. So on the revenue side, payments revenues are growing. That's a good thing, right? 7%, 9% a year. But on the cost side, margins are going down. Depending on where you look, you have margins being reduced by as much as 50% in some regions. And that's because payment volumes, electronic payment volumes, are constantly rising, and the cost of processing infrastructure is rising as well. So you've got a situation where banks are really looking for every possible way where they can reduce the overall total cost of ownership for their payments infrastructure and improve margins. So that's one big driver. The second reason has to do with the speed of service provision. So the risk is that for commercial banks, the payment services that they provide, ACH, wire, and so on, are becoming commoditized, right? So banks need to find a way to differentiate, separate themselves from the pack. The way to do that is by building value-added services around those payment types. That means bringing new products to market faster. And that's a great fit for cloud, because if there's one thing that cloud is very good at, that managed services are very good at, it's actually making it possible to bring services to market faster. So not just about the cost reduction, it is possible to get up to a 40% reduction in cost of ownership for cloud. That's been proven in other areas of financial services, but that speed of provision, that speed of adding value-added services is really important as well. The third reason is a little more subtle, but it's just as important, and it has to do with the fact that there's just increasing acceptance of cloud-based services. So if you look at financial services as a whole, or the IT industry as a whole, cloud used to be kind of an exotic alternative. Now it's almost a default option. There used to be concerns about security. It's pretty clear now that with services like Microsoft Azure, cloud deployments are actually more secure than a typical in-house data center. And then the last barrier really has been regulatory objections, that the regulators wouldn't like it. So if you look at regulators like FINRA, for example, FINRA actually uses the cloud today to run their processing. So they run millions of transactions through the cloud every day, and they've got now 60 petabytes of data or something like that. So that's the last barrier, really. If the regulators are actually using cloud, then there shouldn't be an issue anymore with banks and financial institutions moving core processing to the cloud. So what a commercial bank should look for in a cloud payment service, the most important thing is to consider the end-to-end capabilities. So it's not quite the same as choosing in-house software, because what you should be looking for is, firstly, when we say end-to-end capabilities, what do we mean? I mean, firstly, it's all of the payment types that drive your business. So you want one service that can do ACH, wire, same-day ACH, SWIFT, cross-border, real-time payments, really all of those payment types. You don't want to replicate the silo structure that you typically have in-house, where you've got an ACH system and a wire system and so on. Modern cloud-managed services can do it all really in one platform, in one service, and that's what you should be looking for. The other part of end-to-end is it's really important to focus on the corporate onboarding aspect. Can the service help you accelerate corporate onboarding? Can the service help you build products and services faster so that you can actually get them out to your corporates faster? Can it help you connect your corporates directly into your bank through APIs? Can it help you map their file formats? So the corporate onboarding aspect is hugely important, and that's something that's often overlooked when doing a like-for-like replacement of core processing on-premise on the cloud. Another really important area is ISO 20022. So if we look at the US landscape, ISO 20022, the Fed is moving to ISO 20022, TCH-RTP already on ISO 20022. NACHA has an active ISO 20022 program. So an end-to-end service that can handle ISO 20022 at the capture point, as well as provide acknowledgements in ISO and connect on the back end to ISO clearings, hugely important. The last piece is technology. Let's not forget about technology. You want a system, a service that's real-time up 24/7, that really has no downtime, zero downtime, so it can run in an active-active type of scenario, because that is going to be the future of electronic payments, always up. The same thing with APIs. You want to make sure that it's API-enabled technology. So when you put all of those things together and you have a real end-to-end service on the right technology, that's when you can start really realizing the benefits of payments as a service on the cloud. Volante certainly offers payments as a service in the cloud. We've actually had our service running for about 2 years now. We started our partnership with Microsoft Azure, that's our cloud provider for our managed service, in 2017. And we actually took our first customer live late last year in 2018. That's Finbank. And so the service has been up and running. We're actively onboarding new banks as we speak. Because, as I mentioned, there's a huge interest in cloud and managed service across the industry, really. One thing that's worth mentioning is that we've taken the ISO 2002 component of that and actually partnered with Notcha to deploy that as a service that's available to anyone in the Notcha community. It's right on the Notcha website. It's an ISO 2002 validator that will allow anybody to go in and check and make sure that their ACH transactions, their messages can be correctly mapped to and from ISO formats. So that's something we're very excited about, making sure that we can move the industry to ISO in an appropriate way and do it as a managed service. In terms of the other aspects of the service, we are truly end-to-end. So it's ACH, it's wire, it's RTP. From a technology basis, it's based on 24/7 cloud-native technology. So we're already proven in zero downtime situations. And we've really built out the API layer. We've got over 300 APIs in our managed service that will help accelerate corporate onboarding and the ability for corporates to connect into a bank's payment services. So again, really excited to be bringing this to market. We've just announced the expansion of it for the US market, and we look forward to working with banks to make the move to cloud happen.